Hello everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat, and it is the last day of July, so we are on our last Christmas in July project. And for this one, I literally just went, I really don't know what to do. I have come to the end of my mojo, and I thought, right, let's just have a little look through all the pattern papers, and I found lots of random papers. So some of them are Stampin' Up, some of them are not, some of them are magazine papers. And I thought, you know what, I can make these work. And I went for it. And I love the card that I end up with. So, do you know what? Sometimes when you think you've got no ideas, they come together. So I decided to lay them up. So it's quite a heavy pattern paper piece. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers in total. And I inked all the green pieces with some old olive around the edges, and then this red piece I am doing with some cherry cobbler, and the same on this one, but a lot lighter, so it's a less extreme amount of colour that's going on than went on the green ones. So there's my starting point, as usual, using my ink cup that was on the table so I don't waste it. I mean, really, do I need to do that now? But they'll come in useful at some point. You've seen quite a few of these inky backgrounds that have been created exactly like that throughout this series. So yeah, lay it up. So there's 5 pieces of pattern paper. And then I had already decided I was going to use that bright word you can see just off to the right, but I decided to use a Ranger wreath because I knew that it got like a little poinsettia flower die that I thought would work perfectly. So this is really old stash that I'm using here. I think some of those papers might be, well, they're several years old, possibly 4 years old, some of them at the most recent. The rest of them will be older than that. I actually think that poinsettia piece was something that was gifted to me as well in a swap at some point many years ago. So I die cut my wreath twice. I chose to use the one with the bigger leaves in. I love this set. I mean, it's been retired for ages, but I still love it. I just think they create really pretty wreaths. So die cut the one with the bigger leaves. I had put a little bit of ink down already on the paper before I die cut it, but decided it needed more ink. So I chose both the old olive and some mossy meadow and just sort of inked them randomly, didn't really think about it, and then I'm going to lay them up so that they're offset, and this will create quite a full wreath, a full looking wreath. Now there are extra dies you can add in additional leaves, but I decided that was enough for that. So at this point I'm going to go off and die cut those flowers. So I die cut 3 in total, and then they all have like little tiny holes cut out, which is perfect for sort of recreating the flower centre if you put something behind them. And I knew there was a die in the set, but I couldn't see it at first, so it took me a little while to find it. But I decided to put, here we go, this is me fiddling around trying to find, no, it's not that one, and then realised it was right down at the bottom. There's this tiny little circle die. So I chose some scrap of orange because it's not much that's showing, and it sort of went with the flowers that were on that pattern paper. So again, die cut this 3 times so that I could stick that behind the flower, and then it would peep through those tiny little holes that the die creates. I hadn't realised how much I overhang the desk as well occasionally when I stand up, and I had got quite a floaty top on there. So lucky I've not got ink all over it, but also apologies. Throwing my tummy into the shot there by accident. So I'm just going to stick those orange bits behind, and then I will adhere these flowers to my wreath. I'm not totally sure what I'm doing at this point as to how I'm going to design it, but I end up putting the 3 flowers towards the bottom, and I decide rather than umming and ahhing to just stick them on. I was obviously feeling a little bit brave at that point, because quite often I'll and ah and place things before I'll stick them, but no, I committed straight away. Now, I didn't really want to use the Peace and Joy stamps that go with those die cuts. Apologies. So I have pulled out my waffle flower on the left hand side, but I'll come to the sentiment in a minute. So I decided then to hunt through that pack of die cut pieces. These are things that have been cut from scraps in the past, and I just put them in those little wallets, and then I'll pull them out and use them as I do. You know, they're already done. and they're really good for these little elements like little flowers, little leaves, you know, bits. I try to keep in the pouch those that have come from a particular die set together, so even though there's not many in that pouch, they're all from Frosted Frames dies. Now I've pulled out the little leaves that again have been die cut for ages. This started as quite a full pack, but I'm now whittling it down. There's not much left, which means these need to be pulled out again. I think these were the dies from Forever Flourishing. There is a very similar one in Arrange a Wreath as well. It's just slightly more blobby, I think is the description. It's like more rounded, the little leaves on it. I just ummed and ahed as to whether to add some hearts, but I decided, no, stop faffing, that's enough. So I wanted to use the sentiment from Waffle Flower that says making spirits bright, but I didn't want to stamp the bright part because that's on that die cut that I've already decided I want to use. So the way I do this is I mask off the area I don't want to ink, and then I take the masking away, and then even if I'd got ink onto that section, which I don't think I did in this case, it won't have actually gone onto that section of the stamp because the masking will be in the way. Cut down that sentiment and thought, yeah, that works fine, but it does need a mount. So again, delving through the scraps drawer. This is a piece from only the other day, actually, where I die cut those labels out. So this piece, perfect for just providing a little border for that sentiment and helping it to stand out more. So I'm fiddling with position and I decide that's how I want it. So it's time to stick down, and with all these die cut pieces I'm trying to get glue and making sure that they've got glue on enough places to die cut, stick the die cut down, add my sentiment, and then this die cut sentiment, which I'm going to lay at a slight angle over the top of the wreath. Really happy with that. Now, I'm deciding that I want to add some gems, but again, can't quite work out the right colour. So I'm hunting through old stash and I find these tiny little sort of like, they're like snowflakes flowers. And they're iridescent, so they do change colour. They look a bit pinky at various angles, but they work fine at just adding that bit of shine when you move the card panel. So I'm going to go with a 6x6 card because that panel is 5.5 by 5.5. And I decide I want to stamp on the inside. So I'm going back to that Arrange a Wreath set, and this time using the stamp for the wreath and also the Merry Christmas, keeping it nice and simple. So this time I choose some slightly lighter coloured ink called Lucky Limeade. I do have to do 2 impressions because it didn't stamp brilliantly the first time, and then I took out the wreath stamp and just left the sentiment in and went in this time with the old olive just to darken up that sentiment. Now there's some little sort of like dots that look a little bit like a flower or berries in that stamp set, and I just stamped it 3 times in the real red just to add that little bit of contrast, but still be something that you can write over the top of if needs be. So that's the inside. I'd hid the outside, didn't add any more dimension because I thought that actually with all those die cuts it worked quite well. Called it a day. So that's it. That's the end of Christmas in July. I hope you've enjoyed my series. I have enjoyed making them, but I have to admit I am really pleased to temporarily say goodbye to Christmas products and have a bit of a break and do something a little bit more summery for a while. So please do like and leave me a comment below. Please subscribe to see more. There will be more videos coming of different kinds. I've already recorded some scrapbooking process videos and maybe 2 cards. So please subscribe to see more, and until next time, goodbye.